Good morning and welcome to Friday Group Coaching. This is Wendy of WendyLFisher.com, and I am here with my wonderful co-host, Kathy Delamia, and we are going to start going through the processes of Margaret Lynch's Tapping into Wealth. And I'm so excited because this is a transformational system that can help you. It's helping us, and we are coming to you because of it. So we are here to lead you through a process today. Kathy is going to lead you through a process today. Lead me. I'm going to follow, and I'm going to be your example. So get ready, buckle your seatbelts, because this is really amazing stuff. So today I am excited to be here with you, Kathy, and yeah, let's go. I'm excited.
All right. Well, yeah, welcome everyone. Today we're going to jump into the very beginning of the Tapping into Wealth system. It's called the Money Map. Often we use it as a diagnostic tool to get a lay of your money, mind, and body system. So what areas of money are particular challenge points in your life? What areas of money may have some more rest? And it's not that we're like ever done. This is kind of an entry point to see where's the most powerful place to work now. So this has standalone value. You're going to leave the session with more understanding of tapping. We'll be doing some tapping. You'll leave the session with some relief around maybe some acute stress that you're having right now. And you'll also have a very clear idea of the next place to work as pertains to money. In the Tapping into Wealth system, we use money as the measure because as coaches, we are looking for measurable results. We're promoting change and productivity and improvement, lasting improvement. So we need some way to know that we're making progress, and money serves as a great measure in that regard. But it's actually really okay if money is less important than another area of your life. You can still do the money map. You can still get value out of the tapping, and you can still see how things are all connected. Because when we're looking at the mind-body connection, it's systemic. It's not put in boxes like over here is finances and over here is relationships. When we're looking at how our bodies are wired and what creates the circumstances of our life, it is much more holistic that way. If we feel threatened, we're going to respond in a certain way, whether it's relationship or money. And bringing money to the surface is so powerful because we break the taboo of talking about money a bit, because some people just get stressed about talking about money at all. And the more you can trust yourself to relieve your own stress in difficult areas, the more you can do it. So you can do it in money. You can do it in relationships and career and other kinds of things as well. Money affects every area of everyone's life. It really affects the choices we make, how free we feel, affects the experiences, the environments. So it has an impact on our day-to-day life, and we want to get we want to get our hands on the steering wheel of how we use it to be inspired, resourced, powerful, generous. We want to get our hands on the steering wheel of how we can use money to promote our highest, our best, our happiest, our healthiest, our most contributing selves. So it's a very powerful place to start, and I'm really excited. There's a lot of buzz around money and wealth, and if you're around the law of attraction circles at all, it comes in a lot because people want to know how can we get the unsubstantiated ideas of our life into reality. How do I get my idea of wealth and money into the bank account? Right? How do I translate this hope, wish, dream into reality, into packing the bag and going on the trip? Right? Well, it's as simple as it can be, and it's also as complicated as we want to make it be. So it's something like this. When we explore the money map, that gives us a deeper insight into the mechanisms of our own mind and how we respond to the impulses our body gives us to stay in a zone. And people call it the comfort zone, but it's not really that comfortable. It's familiar. It's habitualized. It's a practice zone. And it's not always comfortable. If living hand to mouth, back to the metaphor of the money, if living hand to mouth is your usual zone, it's not comfortable. But the impulses of the mind and the impulses of the body will keep it that way because it's the known way to survive. So let's explore this a little bit more. So we're going to talk about 5 areas of money. We're going to talk about savings. We're going to talk about debts. We're going to talk about income. We're going to talk about income goals. So first, I know when I first heard it, I didn't understand how that was an area of money. I thought spending would be an area of money. But surprisingly, spending kind of works through all of the other areas of money. We don't talk specifically about spending habits, but you'll see where those spending habits become that impulse. It's kind of amazing, really, what people will be, oh, my car just steered itself to Starbucks because I needed that comfort because I'm already feeling stressed about not quite having enough money. So I'm going to spend $8 to comfort myself. It's just, these are the things, we're human. We're animals. We do stuff like this. But what we really want is to feel fulfilled, creative. What we really want is to feel a deep sense of belonging and purpose in our life. And money can be a very superficially, but such a powerful grip to keep ourselves comparing against something else. So the last area of money that we're going to touch on is toxic money. And toxic money really has a lot of tentacles and roots in all kinds of areas. I'm going to save it to the end, mostly because it's its own can of worms. It is kind of what it sounds like. If you have a good amount of toxic money, it's worth going and doing some more deeper work. All of the areas of money are worth working on. Even if you say, oh, income goals, I double my income every year. That's, reaching for more is no problem for me, which most people, that's not true. Even billionaires are like, it's the reaching for more that is so important. It's the zest in life. It's what we want. That's what that area of money really is. So let's dive in.
Okay.
So as we go through these little exercises, Wendy, do you have a paper and pen in the car there with you? Maybe.
Let me look. I'm not sure, but I have.
While you're watching, have a paper and pen. That would be.
I do.
Let's see if we're going to write down a couple numbers.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to do something similar. We're going to do a little dissecting, diagnosing, a little exploration on these 5 areas of money. And what this exploration looks like is being honest with yourself. There's no right answer. There's no wrong answer. So the invitation is to give yourself as much freedom to just be however you are, because in that freedom, that's where you get a little movement so you can clear things out, because we're going to bring stuff up.
Okay.
So just an invitation to not try to keep it down. That's,
okay.
You know, we're not in the grocery store. We're not in public. We don't have to like keep ourselves contained or put on our ego face. This is really for your inner self to be more, to grow.
Okay.
So how we're inviting this exploration is we're going to ask the same 3 questions of every area. We're going to ask, what are your body sensations?
Mm-hmm.
What are your emotions? What are the emotional words that come to mind?
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to ask about the inner dialogue. Does a story, a memory, or a phrase just pop in? And that's how we're going to get deeper into the area.
Okay.
So let's start with savings. So you write the word savings down and then put on that piece of paper the amount. It doesn't have to be to the penny. It can be a general savings account amount. How much cash, liquid, like if you needed cash in hand, how much could you get?
So if I needed a new refrigerator, or
within 24 hours, kind of like it's not selling your house, it's money in the bank or cash in your mattress. Do you have a number?
I have a number.
Okay. You can share the number if you want. You don't have to. The number is for you to stimulate these next questions.
Okay.
And hopefully it's already stimulating those questions of like, oh, I don't, maybe I want to bring the number up, maybe I don't.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I just right away start feeling my inner dialogue, my justification. Mm-hmm. What's up for you, Wendy? What do you immediately?
So my first thought when I look at that number is, yes, okay, we have this. And then I say, if I needed a new refrigerator or if I needed a new whatever, maybe it's maybe enough for that item, but then, what if 2 or 3 things come in a row? It's not enough. So, yeah, I would like it to be more. Yeah, definitely would like it to be more. Like, yes, I have this. That's great. And I need more.
Yeah.
So the thoughts that come up initially.
So, any body sensations or emotions that you initially?
I wouldn't say I'm having a strong body reaction. The emotion, there's a little bit of fear in there because you don't know what's going to happen in the future. You don't know what you're going to need. And so, a little bit of fear in there. A little bit of satisfaction, but a little bit of fear. A little bit of, can I do this? Is it possible? And that's not really an emotion, but it's,
It's a little bit of doubt sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no particular body sensations.
No, not with savings.
And that's perfect. Thank you for being willing to go through. I know you've gone through the money map a few times, and isn't it true
Yeah,
that it shifts as you do the work?
every time. It's like the first time you don't know what's coming. And so there's this underlying, excitement or anxiety. And then as you do it a few more times, it gets to be a little more real.
Yeah.
Like, okay, now I can just like pay attention to what's going on. What am I thinking? What am I feeling? What's going on in my body? And so, yeah, it does. Going through it multiple times is amazing. You can dig
Yes.
down
And
deeper.
and it's like you return to where you left it off. If
Yeah.
if this is your first time and you drop into I have no savings, it's a big fat zero. If anything happens, I would be destitute. I mean, a lot of fear can come up
Right.
for people right away.
Absolutely.
And that is part of the point of doing this this exploration, and doing a little excavating, digging in there just a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
so that you can affect this change. And
Yep.
if you feel that like plummeting pain in the gut, right? We've all experienced it at some point. But if it's just hanging there at the mention of savings,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't it make sense that that body sensation, that emotion, those
Mm-hmm.
corresponding I don't know, I can't, or it's always been this way, whatever those inner dialogues are,
Mm-hmm.
they just stay there because we don't want to feel that.
Right. Why would you want to bring it to the light if it doesn't feel good?
And so it just stays in that place in our mind, body, and our circumstantial reality. And that's why we say, I'm strong enough to feel this and affect change. It's important
Mm-hmm.
enough to me to move it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I promise we're going to be doing some more tapping and move it even more.
Awesome.
Let's get a scale on it. If I know you had fear as an emotion, and you said something to the effect of it's not really enough.
Right.
So let's get a baseline, and this is useful for you as a participant.
Mm-hmm.
This is where we work with that measurableness, because it is subjective. You know, this kind of coaching isn't measured in championships won, but it is measured in the personal scale, how free you feel, how uncomfortable you feel, because that's going to affect our action. People do make more money when they feel better about making money.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
how fearful, 10 being like horribly fearful,
Mm-hmm.
and wherever you're at on the scale it is fine. There's no wrong answers. We want to get a baseline,
Right.
10 being the worst.
And so I think the other types of money you mentioned may be totally different, but the fear here in savings is probably at a 3.
Okay.
So it's not really strong.
Yeah. And it's going to be different for different.
And then not enough. Right. Sorry, I was just going to go to the not enough really quick, is probably a 4. So that's where those two things are. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm not quite that low on my own scale, but I'm not above the 5 mark either. I'd probably be at 4 or 5 when it comes to savings. partly because I've been doing this work for a year.
Hmm. And partly for me, it's that I've been doing the work, but but mine was never really high in savings to begin with, so it has come down. But yeah, it's really interesting how they're all different. Each of these types of money has
Hmm.
its own feelings and thoughts and intensities.
And what I consider strings. You know,
Mm-hmm.
there, like, you look at your
Mm.
savings account and then there's this string of identity,
Yeah.
right? It's money in the bank somewhere, and when we think about it, we can't help but think about ourselves
Mm-hmm.
and what it means about us. This means
Mm-hmm.
I'm rich. This means I can help people when they need it. This means I am useless. I mean, for some people, having no savings account, they don't mean to, but in this exploration, they realize it means to them that I'm poor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, that identity piece, or what it means about the personality.
Mm-hmm.
It shows up in savings in a way that has to do with rich. Like, what does it mean to be rich? Because savings really is money you don't have to use to survive. It's beyond survival.
Exactly.
And on some level, everyone knows they should save.
Mm-hmm.
Many people have plenty of money that they don't have to spend everything that they could save but still don't.
Right. Yeah.
And it is in the mind body money connection that we start excavating. Oh, well, I make plenty of money, but I can't save any of it because I'm poor in my mind. If I start saving, even though I make plenty of money, and this isn't my
Mm-hmm.
real story, this is an example story that happens.
It does. Yeah. And then there's the other story. There's many stories, but another story would be I don't really make a lot of money, but I am diligent about saving. And so saving can be the not a bad place, but the income, so there's many, many different ways that this can show up. And so that's why we go through all the 5 different types and map it because
Yes.
they all mean a little different thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, anything else about savings that um,
Nope, that's pretty much it. It's not enough, but I feel good about what I have.
yeah, great.
So, yeah,
Let's
that's me.
let's jump down into the debt area.
Okay.
And I say down because debt's like
Yeah.
a hole, right?
Debt can be a hole.
It
Can be
can be.
positive,
It
can be
doesn't
negative.
have to be.
Right.
Yeah. And many of us in the middle class America 2018,
Mm-hmm.
debt is a different thing than it was for my grandparents. It's
Yes.
a different thing than it was for my parents even.
Yep.
Um, but
Yeah.
we're gonna write down a number again on the debt, but
Mhm.
this debt's not your mortgage, it's not your house mortgage.
Okay.
We leave that out because the quality of debt's different. I mean, you need the home,
Right.
you it can be an investment vehicle.
Right. And it's something that appreciates. So
Yeah.
if it's a positive debt, then we wouldn't consider it in the whole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So consumer debt, credit card
Mm-hmm.
debt, things that are on a credit card that might be best paid off every month, but may or may not get paid off every month, kind of
Mm-hmm.
debt.
Right.
It's money you have to pay back.
Yes.
It's money that has an obligatory weight.
Yeah. And if you don't pay it back timely, it can get all these fees and late charges, and it can accumulate even more. So it can be a real black hole.
Yeah.
And I'm not the best example in here because I've always paid my credit card debt down monthly. So my debt right now is 0. So
we're going to celebrate, Wendy. Everyone wants to be you.
Woo-hoo, we're going to celebrate. And then we're going to talk about what this can really mean, right? And just, how this can really affect somebody.
Oh, yeah.
So different than savings.
So differently than savings. And I just wanted to do a little dog year and say thank you for talking about money and for, exposing your details, because it can be tricky on both sides of it. Like when in family dynamics, one person can be no debt, great savings, be great, but they personally, and I don't know if this is your case, but can feel guilty. Like, I don't want to make other people feel bad that I'm better than them. Right? This happens in family. This happens in our hearts. We want to be the best us we can be, but we will literally keep ourselves small to stay in our tribe. We won't give ourselves the pride, the celebration for what we have done, because we don't want to make other people feel bad, or right. And on the other side of it, people hide their debt in shame.
Oh, yeah.
And guilt.
Yep.
Probably more often than the other side of it, truthfully. But it's not good.
Right. And so shame really shows up in the body, right? Shame is a much different place than I feel good about this. It's, yeah.
And I want to protect it. So let's talk about those 3 things. If you close your eyes for a minute, tune into the debt number. Do you notice any emotions, inner dialogue, body sensations?
I feel a good sense of pride that I've always kept debt to a minimum. I mean, it feels really good, right? So that's where I'm at. Body sensations, yeah. When I think about debt, I actually feel like I have had pressure in my head all morning, and I feel it kind of going away. Like this, so it's a real, it's a real physical manifestation of what I think about my debt. So it's the opposite of what a lot of people have and what we're looking for right now. We're actually digging for the negative, but the savings and debt for me are very positive things. So we'll get to other ones, and it won't be as, so it will be a better example. But it's, but no, just thinking about debt, it's like, I feel a little better. Woo, my head is draining. It's not as pressurized, as it was. So it's amazing how the mind-body system works both ways, right? We can hold on to those things, and it can really, just build up the stress in us, or we can release it and we can feel better physically.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, so let's explore a little bit of the negative with me then, since you're.
This isn't a negative for me.
So debt, I can definitely feel generally when I'm in the shadow, what we could call the shadow or the negative, those more suppressed, undesirable feelings around it.
Right.
And this is so important to have some courage and capacity to alleviate. We cannot run from our negative feelings. They go with us. whether it's about debt or relationships or our health or our body, we benefit from loving coaching environments
Mm-hmm.
or group coaching where we can bring it to the light.
Yeah.
So, the negativity, I feel it in my solar plexus. A lot of people feel it in their stomach. I kind of feel it high in my solar plexus or my third chakra, like under in the diaphragm area. I feel a
Okay.
constriction right here. And the inner dialogue is something to the effect of, I'm not enough.
Great. Okay. So not that, yeah, so there's debt there. It means I'm not enough.
Yeah, it's like
Okay.
a measure of who I am. That's that's where we start dismantling. For some people, um, they have their money really separate from who they are. It's just a changing scenery on the screen. But more often than not, that money pattern will repeat and repeat and repeat because it is rooted in your beliefs about yourself. So I, for one, can really see how an inner dialogue of I'm not enough
Mm-hmm.
is not really helpful in eliminating a debt or gaining more traction in earning.
And so what was there a feeling that came up for you?
Sad,
That.
just sad, loss.
Mm.
It's quite common for debt specifically to bring up regret.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it makes so much sense.
It makes so much sense. It's that I should have known better. I was a 20, people all over the map with should have done better,
Mm-hmm.
regret,
Yeah.
because it's right there in the debt. Money that
Every
you
time you think about it, right?
yeah. But
Yeah.
it's that feeling in the body
Mm-hmm.
that holds it in place way more. I mean, way more than the banking system holds it in place. Now, given the banking system holds it in place, right? I mean, they're not going to not charge you interest. But the banking system actually has nothing on you if you feel resourced, powerful,
Yeah.
and valuable.
Right.
If you have that mind body feeling, it doesn't matter what the banking system does.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why we want to excavate it. This is why we want to open that up and say, that shame right there, that regret right there, I can do something with. I'm not stuck with it. I can tap it. I can voice it. I can move the energy of it.
Yeah.
So only 2 of the 5 areas we're starting to see how this becomes um, diagnostic. So
Mm-hmm.
would you of the 2 areas, and I know you personally have low numbers, low stress, low fear, and almost pride and good feelings on the debt,
Right.
but now you can see for yourself, well, of the 2, I want to work more on savings
On the
maybe.
savings. Yeah.
Yeah.
But when we get into another one, that's going to change.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. You want to scale it? I know that you were really positive. I suppose I could scale my feeling of sadness, loss, regret, constriction, those kinds of negative feelings, 10 being the most intense.
Yeah.
I would probably put myself at a 6.
Okay. So if
Um,
I went with sadness and loss regarding debt, I'd probably put myself at a 1.
We could tap it down to a 0.
Yes.
That's the whole idea. I mean, even to some degree, we will mistakenly hold on to some amount of stress or pain just because we're used to it, because we want to survive.
Yes.
Our survival mechanism in our nervous system is so on board all the time.
Yeah.
It will stimulate. No, you don't want to be at a 0 of worry, because you might just die.
I have to worry. I have to.
I have to have at least a 1 of worry to know, right? And the real problem is that people will get used to an 8 or 9 or 10.
Right.
They'll get used to it. It's been like that for years.
Mm-hmm.
And now I have ulcers, and now I can't sleep. And now I don't see my kids because I'm working all the time. And our mind-body system will grip onto, you need this feeling to survive. And people will mistakenly maintain a very unhealthy level of stress.
Right. And so you talked about that earlier, that money is just like this tool that we use to look at these feelings. So in my life, there's other things. There's childhood abuse that I would hold on to that and say, I need this. And so in these two areas of money, no, but yes, in my childhood stress level that I brought forward with me. So yeah, it's just amazing how money is that way to dig down and find those things.
Yes.
Yes.
And giving ourselves any amount of permission to let go of some of those feelings is actually huge.
Yeah.
Because
it is.
We think, oh, why would I want to feel sad and fearful? No, I want that gone. But when we start really seeing those strings and what it's attached to, we have more compassion for why we keep it in place.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, why we keep that forward. And then we just work with the tapping, we work with a coach, we work with ourselves to let go of it more and more. And then a 6 is normal, and it's still uncomfortable. It's still that like, ooh, I have fear and regret and loss, but it's way better than a 9 or a 10.
Right. Just maybe think of a thermostat, how we can set it really high, we could bring it low, and then this is how we use the tapping to actually lower these negatives. Right. So yeah.
And what happens when that stress level is lower? There's more space in your system, in your mind, to be inspired, resourced, happy, energized, to be productive, to be attuned to the good impulses and opportunities. So it's powerful. Good job. So you're at a 1. That we're moving quite along. We're not going to go too deeply into let's see, I just want to manage the time. I've gotten going on these two. Let's go into income.
Okay.
Let's do the same thing for income. I want to get to our tapping.
Yeah.
Do you have a number?
I have a number.
Okay. Emotions.
Sad. I guess a regret. Yeah, that piece of I'm not enough, I'm not good enough. definitely comes up with income. I guess the word is unable that I feel is unable. But so I would like to earn X amount, kind of gets into the income goal, but I'd like to earn X amount and I'm not able. So I've earned this much this year. It's just not enough. And I don't know if I'm able. So, yeah.
Okay. Body sensations?
Yeah, so that I start feeling in my neck and my shoulders, like this tightness. And I'd say I feel it in my gut too, that it's kind of a butterfly in the stomach type uneasiness.
Okay. And a scale, 10 being the most intense of the sad, regret, unable, tightness.
Sad and regret are probably, they're really high. So maybe like a 7 or an 8. Unable's even higher, maybe a 9. What else did I say? Anything?
Tightness in the shoulders, neck,
Tightness
not
in the
enough gut.
no. Yeah, the tightness in the shoulders and neck, I'd say, is kind of a 7. So the income really it ran. See, this is amazing visual of my savings. Emotions really low, thoughts really low, but then income it ramps it right up.
Yeah.
That's where my feelings are. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, with income, what we excavate is our sense of our own self-worth.
Mm-hmm. Right, which goes perfectly with the childhood trauma that I experienced. It just makes total sense. So I'm living proof of that statement.
Yeah. How much is my activity worth? How much is my time worth? How much is my thoughts, feelings, and actions worth?
Mm-hmm.
Do I have innate value?
Mm-hmm. Right. Definitely.
What do I have to do? How hard do I have to work to prove my value?
Mm-hmm. Right, and I don't even know if I've gotten there yet. It's more that my value, as a child, I saw my value was so low that I brought that into adulthood. And so, what is my value? And logically, I think I have a ton of value. I have strength, I have tools, I have, a lot of ability. And yet my emotions bring that way down. In my emotions, it's really low. So my ability, to make a good income, how that feels is really low. Maybe like, so I'm doing it backwards. So the inability, the unable is really high, like a 9, I think you said. So I see that so clearly. That's where that stems from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, as a diagnostic tool, and we mentioned it, this would be even more of a priority than working with the savings.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Little fly.
Yeah. I'm sitting near the bay.
Let's do income goal.
Okay.
Okay, so for income goal, we want to, we do this quite a few times in Tapping into Wealth. We want to work with target. It's impossible to get where you're going if you don't know where you are.
Right.
And you don't know where you're going. You can't do anything. So, excuse my cough. So we're getting an idea of where we are, the money map, get the layout of the areas.
Yep.
Now the income goal starts stretching us to where we might want to go. But because we're still on the map, we're still measuring how do we feel? What's our mind body set point
Mm-hmm.
about reaching for more?
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
want you to reach for more in your mind right here with maybe something that's a stretch.
Mm-hmm.
It's not matter of course cost of living increases to a job that are going to happen anyway.
Okay.
It's not pie in the sky that's like, I'm going to be a billionaire
Right.
when, the most I've ever made is $30,000. No, it's a stretch that you could exercise yourself into believing.
Okay. So if it was $30,000 that I've made, so just for example, it could be I'm going to make 40,000 or I'm going to make 50,000 would be a stretch. If I
Yeah.
have a set job and that's what they pay me, and I can only go up the level of the ladder so much in a year, how do I get to that? Right. So, okay, I've got a number.
Okay.
Yes.
So, and that number can be like you and I are self-employed or we own our own businesses.
Right.
And then some people who have a job, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the whole power in this area of money is to explore what are those feelings, that
Mm-hmm.
body feeling, that mind body money connection that stops you from reaching more.
Mm-hmm.
So you can feel that, open it up. And at the same time, the other side of it opens up the possibility of
Right.
having more
Right.
in a really big way. Um, so let's look for the feelings. Let's open up some of the dialogue around. Is there an inner narrative, motion?
This is where the I'm unable really explodes. The I'm unable. There's a logical, of course I'm capable, but there's an emotional um unable, unworthy, not worthy of making that much money. I've I've been in a traditional relationship. So growing up in a family, I was supported, and then I've been married for 30 whatever years, and been in this traditional relationship, where I stayed home with the kids, and my husband has provided for us, and so I haven't had those goals most of my life. And so now having my own business and reaching for those goals, it starts bringing it up, right? It really starts bringing up that, am I really able to do this? Am I really capable? Is it possible for me? I don't know if it's possible, right? So I can make X amount, but can I make this bigger amount? Is it possible? So that's a lot of what comes up, that I'm kind of stepping out of a traditional wifey role, being supported and saying, am I able to make enough money to support us and to go beyond that? So it doesn't have to be just his income. So it brings up a lot of feelings and uncertainty, and yeah.
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 Whew, good work.
Yes.
Good work.
Yes.
And it's in us. Like, it seems very understandable that when we have these feelings going on, it affects our conversations with our partners.
Oh,
It
sure.
affects our actions. It affects our motivation and what we accomplish.
Sure.
So the better we feel, the more aligned our body sensations are with this is a
Mm-hmm.
good thing, go for it, the more
Mm-hmm.
resource we're going to be, right? But
Right.
it happens in a flash. It happens while you're writing a check at the grocery store, this flood of of body chemicals.
Right.
So it takes a slowing down. It takes a conversation like this
Yeah.
to say, wow, I really do wonder if I'm capable.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm open.
Right. And it's a conversation like this that brings it. So it's been like in my subconscious. It hasn't been in my conscious mind for most of my life. And so now this brings it into the conscious mind, which is a really odd feeling. You know, it's a really odd, but it's a good thing, because I really think we can't shift something if it's sitting in the dark, like in the shadow, like you were saying. We can't really shift it.
Yeah.
You know, it needs to be in the light. It needs to see the light of day to shift. And so, yeah, it's uncomfortable to bring it into the light, but how else is it going to move? Right? Unless we do. So, okay.
Thank you for all this work. We're going to get
Yeah,
tapping. Yeah. Do you want to scale that? I mean, you did a lot of scaling on the income, and it sounded like they're
pretty similar. Yeah. So an income goal is probably more intense. It's probably, you know, add one to each of those numbers. And so the income goal is going to be more up on the 9s and the 10s. And yeah.
We got to get tapping, but just for fairness, I want to mention the toxic money.
Yes.
We're not going to go into it very deeply right now. I think we could even do just a little bit of a tapping video on toxic money, because
we could do that. Yeah.
It's worth it. So let's talk a little bit about what toxic money is, and how important it is to clear layers of toxic money.
Yeah.
So my initial understanding of this topic is, well, I start with that for many people, money itself is a taboo to talk about. So I start with that.
Right. Okay.
You know, I like to kind of soften the intensity around toxic money by just giving everyone a breath that for a lot of us, we were taught to some degree or another, money is dirty. Right. Money is not something that you want to put a lot of energy into it. It's better to be friendly and, nice to people than to care about money. So there's kind of built in a certain toxicity around money as power and personal power, and where it even, because you can't avoid it, but then again, you can't worship it. So what do? Right? So for some of us, we just need to give a little space to the fact that it's not our fault that we have this mind, body, money system that has built-in conflict.
Yeah.
Right? So that's how I start the toxic money exploration. But then to get into the roots of it, really, it's money that you're dependent on to live, that has someone else is holding the purse strings. So it's alimony that you can't, that the relationship or the ex relationship is so toxic, but you can't cut the financial ties because you need it to survive.
Right.
Family money. People get into toxic money situations where it's an inheritances, and there's all kinds of, it becomes toxic when the money to survive is so deeply linked with dysfunctional relationships,
right,
that it becomes a place where you have to have dysfunctional relationships to survive.
Okay. And so like there's a battle.
There's a battle.
Yeah. Okay.
An ongoing battle. Could be medical insurance, some kind of lawsuits, oftentimes there is some kind of lawsuit, argument, and people will know that they have a good amount of toxic money when they pull out the case and they got all the details of he did, she did, they did, that did, this happened, da 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 da. And I have to have that money to survive.
Right.
When it gets so locked and entrenched that way,
Mm-hmm.
it's worth doing as much clearing as you can
Right.
off the top, off the top, off the top.
So by definition, it is a very emotional place to be. It's a very toxic, emotional place to be.
Yeah.
So we call it toxic money because it's money that's so deeply, am I still there? My battery's getting low. So it's so deeply entrenched with negative emotions, right, that it's just toxic.
Yeah.
Yep.
So really, as far as the money map goes,
Mm-hmm.
if people are like, ding, ding, that's really where they'd want to start.
Yeah.
They want to start unpacking the pain of those toxic relationships and start looking for solutions to free themselves financially.
Right. Yes. And so one that not everybody has.
No.
No. Everybody has income, debt, savings. It's just part of everyday life. But this one is, less common.
Less common and probably more common than we would like.
Probably. Yep.
You know, as humans, people do all kinds of stuff. So that's why we want to alleviate suffering.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to free up some creativity and resources for people.
Yeah. Yeah, because we all have that genius inside. We all have ideas. We all have inspirations. And these negative emotions just squash them down. And so as we clear the emotions, then these things can start bubbling up.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to work with the expert coaching.
All right.
So you know all the tapping points. We're going to start just tapping through the points, starting with the eyebrow center, moving to the temple, under the eye, under the nose, under the chin clip, the collarbone. And I like to tap the kidney point, which is basically your side of your ribs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing. And if you don't mind keeping your voice on, I'd like to hear the call and response, if that's okay.
Sure.
And then
go.
Feel free to change the words if you feel like you need to change the words as well.
Okay.
And for anyone who might be watching, if you haven't done emotional freedom technique, it's amazing, and I'm really excited to share some tapping with you right now. So take a breath, take a look at your money map, that landscape of emotions and territory and the insights that you've seen, and we're going to start tapping through the points. So my nervous system is wired to react with fear, shame, tension.
My nervous system is wired to react with all these emotions: fear, tension, unable.
And I really feel it.
And I really feel it.
And I don't want to feel that. It's uncomfortable.
I don't want to feel this uncomfortableness.
No wonder I don't want to focus on my finances.
No wonder I don't want to focus on my finances.
My nervous system runs with the feelings of tension, guilt, fear, shame,
Yep, my nervous system runs with all these feelings of guilt, tension, nervousness, shame, inability.
My nervous system runs with these feelings of fear, tightness, inability.
My nervous system runs with all these feelings and their deep inability and shame, and fear, and loss.
Over and over, I feel unable, sad, regret.
Over and over, I feel all these feelings, this inability, the sad, regret.
And I feel it in my shoulders, my neck, feel it in my stomach, my solar plexus, my heart.
Mm-hmm.
I feel it in my whole body.
So I feel these emotions in my body, in my shoulders, my neck, my gut. You know, I might feel it in my heart, my solar plexus. These feelings just show up in my body.
And all of these awful feelings.
All of these awful feelings.
I wonder how long I've been feeling this way about money.
I wonder how long I've been feeling this way about money.
And I start thinking thoughts that feel really true.
And I start thinking all these thoughts that feel really true.
Thoughts like, I'm unable, I can't.
Thoughts like I'm unable and I can't.
Thoughts like I should have done better.
I should have done better.
It's always going to be this way.
Always going to be this way. It can't change.
And I think them over and over and over like a recording.
And I think these thoughts over and over and over, just like a recording.
And those thoughts always feel true.
And those thoughts always feel true.
And that hurts too.
And that hurts too.
Those thoughts and those words have always seemed true.
Those thoughts and those feelings have always seemed true.
And always seem to get proven as true over and over again.
And always seem to be proven as true over and over.
And so I say to myself again and again, I'm unable.
And so I say to myself again and again, I'm unable. I can't do it.
I should have done better. I'm not worthy.
I should have done better. I'm not worthy.
I'm right about being bad at this.
I'm right about being bad at this. It's impossible.
It's impossible.
It's impossible.
When I play those thoughts in my head, I feel more unable, more regret, more guilt and shame. It's a vicious cycle.
Okay, so when I play those thoughts in my head, I feel more unable, more shame, more sad. And it's like a vicious cycle.
No wonder I'm not spending time setting goals and managing money.
No wonder I'm not spending time setting goals and managing money.
I totally honor my nervous system is wired to react this way.
And I totally honor that my nervous system is wired to react this way.
And I totally honor my thoughts are programmed to run this way.
And I totally honor that my thoughts are programmed to run this way.
It's been happening without my knowledge or choice.
It's been happening without my knowledge or my choice.
And I'm open to changing this.
And I'm open to changing this. Sure.
I'm open to observing this and questioning this.
I'm open to observing this and questioning this.
Every time I feel it come up and hear it come up.
Every time I feel it or hear it come up.
I am open to rewiring my nervous system for my highest good.
I am open to rewiring my nervous system for my highest good.
I am open to rewiring my habitual thinking for my highest good.
I am open to rewiring my habitual thinking for my highest good.
I am open to a whole new way of thinking and feeling about money and wealth.
I'm open to a whole new way of thinking and feeling about money and wealth.
I am open to having new choice in how much I can earn, create, manage, and save.
I'm open to having a whole new choice about how much I can earn and manage and save.
Because when I shift, everything shifts.
Because when I shift inside, everything shifts.
Clearing out the old that I don't want, and choosing a new way, my way.
Ooh, clearing out the old stuff I don't want and choosing a new way, my way.
And I am shifting into a new empowered yes about money.
And I'm shifting into a new empowered shift and saying yes about money.
I am now saying yes to money.
I am now saying yes to making more money.
Yes to earning more money.
Yes to earning more money.
Yes to receiving more.
Yes to receiving more.
Yes to money. Yes to wealth.
Yes to money. Yes to wealth.
Yes to managing and creating more.
Yes to managing and creating more.
Yes to asking and receiving more.
Yes to asking and receiving more. It's shifting.
Yes to the best ideas, inspirations, strategies, and actions for my highest good.
Yes to the best inspirations and strategies and thoughts and genius for my highest good. All that.
Take a nice, deep, big breath.
Wow. Definitely started yawning there. The energy is shifting. So if you're out there and you're yawning with me, it's energy moving. And it definitely is. That feels, I could feel a shift in my body, like my neck, like was getting tighter earlier, and it seems like it's just softening and loosening.
Yeah. Well, that's all the tapping that we're going to do today. But I know that this kind of session makes it really clear what to do next.
Yes. Yeah. So we've uncovered things. Like I need to keep working on the unable. Keep working on that old feelings of shame that came from my childhood. And yeah, definitely. That was awesome, Kathy. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's our Tapping into Wealth Money Map for the day, our Friday group coaching recorded for YouTube. Super excited that you are here.
Sorry, my phone is getting low on power, so I had to start out. But yes, this is an amazing series of processes that are proven over and over to to be effective. And if you're out there listening and you would like more, we are both available to do some coaching. We could start with a free clarity session with you if you'd like to just get really clear on your goals and what it is you want and how to reach them. We both have websites and YouTube channels. So mine is Wendy L. Fisher for both. And Kathy, I don't know if you want to share yours.
QualityCoachKathy.com. Kathy Delamia on YouTube.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for your participation. Even if you weren't on this video with us, if you participated, you are progressing in your own healing, in your own growth. And that's why we're here. That's why we're going to be here every Friday. And you're welcome to join us live. Just, sign up and join us, and we would love to have you live. And if not, follow us. And so anything else you want to share, Kathy? We're just excited to.
Yeah, next week we're going to be talking about the early money paradigm.
Excellent.
So
Awesome.
we're going to go into some of where did this stuff come from? It gets into us somehow, and we can shift it. We can adjust our wiring. We can adjust ourselves permanently. And it's just like sit-ups or exercise. When you work with your mindset and your belief system, it gets to be a habit. And that's really what we want. We want the habit of thriving, not just surviving.
That's right. And so for those thoughts, those negative thoughts that are habitual, to be habitual positive thoughts, to be habitual I cans, habitual, this isn't as hard.
Well, that is huge. And the habit of tuning into your personal mix of things and feeling empowered that you can shift the stuff out that you don't want and bring more in of what you do want.
Yes.
That's huge.
It is absolutely huge.
All right. Well,
so Quality Coach Kathy and Wendy L. Fisher signing off. Come back and join us again.
Bye for now.